Tilda Del Toro, it's great to meet you virtually.
Hi, John. It's great to virtually meet you as well.
So congratulations on your new movie that came out on Tuesday. It's called
Thank
Capone.
you.
I want to
Thanks.
talk to you. How did you find out about this role? How did you become a part of it?
Well, I auditioned for the part and it came through. So I did the work that actors do and, I put myself on tape and yeah. So it was, it took a little bit of time, but yeah, I got it. So that was awesome.
So without giving away too much, you're playing this like mysterious lover of Al Capone. But what else? What else can you say without giving away for people that haven't seen the movie yet?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say that, that I'm part of, I think that it was sort of understood when I talked to Josh that there are a lot of people in Capone's life who are at the effect of him, like they live in his life. And I'm one of those people. You can say that I'm connected to him and connected to parts of the story is what I can say to you.
Yeah, for sure. What's
that doesn't sound juicy at all. Like you gotta, you have to, I don't want to ruin it for anyone because Josh's work is so great. And so I want to, keep it that way.
Absolutely. And the cool thing I think about this movie is we're used to like the younger Capone, the more the gangster Chicago. We haven't really seen like this side of his story. And doing a little bit of the back research for this, I didn't realize he was our age when he was in prison. I didn't realize when he got out of prison he had done like 12 years and he was only 40 at that time.
Yeah.
So that kind of like really blew me away. What surprised you most about this script or about this story?
Well, what fascinated me from the beginning was that, we were talking about Al Capone when nobody talks about him. What surprised me the most actually was, how can I say this without, I think that Tom brings so many levels to the experience that Capone may have been having. I don't just mean the dementia, which everyone knows about, but I'm talking about the actual feelings or experiences that are explored, like sadness, vulnerability. I don't think people think of Al Capone with a conscience, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they think of him as somebody who would have feelings or actually, feel bad about anything. And I'm not saying I know that what Al Capone felt bad about, but we're looking at like a humanity of a person that honestly, many people don't want to look at, you know what I mean? And truth is we're all human. And so Tom does a really good job of like experiencing for us on a plethora of levels, ideas of Capone that shock us, like vulnerability and sadness and, love and tenderness. And obviously we know possibly violence and, hate and stuff like that. So those are the things that really, surprised me. And then just the actual story, the, events that I didn't even, I grew up in Chicago, you know what I mean? But it's like, I didn't really think about that, he only lived a year after, you know what I mean? Like after he got out. That's such a short period of time, so.
Yeah, and I think with Tom, I've gotten to meet him before. We've interviewed him multiple times. I got to hang out with him at the Revenant premiere. And he's just such a empathetic actor. Like he can, I just feel like this role for him, like it's easy for, maybe not necessarily easy for Tom, but like he's able to like absorb these emotions and absorb like the past of Capone and like really put himself like in that place. I don't know if it's like stuff that he's dealt with before in his own life, but he's able to take like these little pieces and like really bring that character to life. And I don't know, I just thought that was really cool, like with what Tom was able to accomplish, and of course your role as Mona Lisa.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Did y'all film this in New Orleans? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Tell me about that, the filming process of this, because y'all did this back in 2018, and
yeah. Yeah,
well,
definitely. New Orleans is a fantastic, special place. I don't know if you've been there. I did live part-time there. I still have a place there that I go to at times. And just because it's such a great film community right now. So when we went to set, you know, some of the scenes, they were shot at different parts of Louisiana. I'm not sure if you're going after like, you know, the set or like some of my experiences in New Orleans. But, you know, New Orleans is such a great place, and there's so many people around, and, you know, everyone just got a chance to sort of like, I know I did, to, you know, hang out with the people and enjoy, you know, all that. And I'm pretty sure Tom did too. I mean, I think he was like, I think there's like lots of pictures of him on his bike and stuff like that. But, you know, that's for him. But, you know, I think like one of the times when I had to go to wardrobe, and I'm familiar with New Orleans, but not like all parts of it, and or Louisiana. And they had said to me like, oh, you know, like I wasn't actually shooting yet, and I had to go to set, and I had to I have a little bit of fear driving over bridges. It's something that's recent in my life. And so, you know, they said, well, hey, you know, just go over here. And I had to drive over one of the longest bridges in the world.
The
so
Lake
it's really,
Bridge.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, cool, I'll go to set, be really cool. And then, you know, so it was like I got myself through the bridge, and then I had no idea because I had not even known about the bridge. And, you know, 8 miles into the bridge, you can't see land. So, and I heard that some people like pull over or stuff like that. And like, but I got through the bridge, and that's one of my stories, getting on to set and stuff like that. But, yeah, so I think this film is accompanied with a lot of people that had experiences of really hard work, like all film is. And I want to also tell everyone that like everyone on set was just like, from like the PAs to everyone, like with the work that Tom was doing, they were all like, they would do, you know, they were there. You know, I had one of the PAs say to me, he's like, dude, like, you know, like the work that Tom's doing, like we're all like here, you know what I mean? Like we'll be here for 20 hours if they ask us. I don't know, 20, but you know, so that's the conversation I had. And I was like, oh yeah. And that was like right when I had, you know, come in and started working. So
Awesome.
everyone believed in it, and because of it, they were working their tush off, you know what I'm saying? And they believed in Tom, and they believed in Josh, and a lot of other people. That there's also really a lot of other cool people. You know, Amy Westcott, she's an amazing costume designer. You know, Audrey Doyle, who did, you know, the prosthetics. You know, all amazing, cool people. The producers, you know, Aaron Gilbert, you know, Brenda Gilbert, Lawrence Bender, the other people who came afterwards, executive producers. You know, who are like really. This project has been like, people are giving it love, you know.
And it really came across on screen. Like, it's cool that like you can see like that bond and like friendship. Like it just, you can translate. I don't know what it is. It's like an X factor, you know, kind of comes across. So I'm curious. I want to switch it up a little bit. So what's the status on Julia?
Oh,
Your
yeah.
screenplay. Is that still coming about, or is it in pre-production, production, or like not production right now? But where are you at on that?
Well, interestingly enough, the quarantine was like, you know, hey Matilda, like, get that going, you know what I mean? And so after all this stuff with Capone Leak and how awesome, you know, it's just such an awesome project to be in, and then me just looking at Julian going like, this has been in pre-production, you know what I mean? This has been talked. It's like, so I'm finishing up another draft right now. And so realistically with, you know, the quarantine and stuff like that, you know, maybe like 2 years before it gets done. And that's just, you know, how long, you know, film takes a long time. But I'm jumping on that really immediately. And I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah.
That's gotta be so exciting. Like, how does it feel to be on the other side of it? Because is this your first like full-length feature that you've written?
It's my first full-length feature that I've written. I worked with James Franco at, you know, one of his schools and produced stuff with, you know, like went through a production process of a feature with him, and I've produced short films before. And this is, you know, it's partially autobiographical by terms of like, you know, where I grew up and, you know, what I was exposed to and stuff like that. And I think it's a really cool story. It's a little bit of sort of like a Good Will Hunting, but like the lead is a Latina, and, you know, she lives in this world of like, you know, the barrio, you know what I'm saying? And she has realities, but she has a untapped gifted palate for wine. And so her dream is just like literally to just become a sommelier, you know what I mean? But she has, you know, it's a little bit of sort of precious in it too. Like there's some hard, you know, realities. And so I'm excited because I think it's a cool story, and I like the idea of pushing, you know, Latina leads. And also it was originally inspired by Educating Rita. So I thought, well, what if there was like a Latina Educating Rita, you know? And, you know, it's very different than that, but that's, you know, the traditional Pygmalion, like, you know, Educating Rita's story. So, yeah, so I think it's gonna, you know, be done very soon. And I'll tell you what, I don't know about you, but the quarantine's really sort of woke me up in terms of like, listen, my life is now. I'm not going to get today back, in quarantine or not. And I want to see this happen. And so, yeah, I'm really, really pushing, you know, to do this. Is I would prefer it to be sort of, you know, an indie film festival thing, you know, so that we keep creative control of it.
Absolutely. I'd probably be interviewing you like at TIFF in like 3 years, you know?
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
That'd be so cool. And we'll have
yeah.
to play this back. That'd be awesome. Yeah, for me during the quarantine, it's been kind of a similar thing, because I've had like these projects that I've put on the wayside that, you know, just life, we're so busy with both of us working, I haven't been able to sit down, but now I have, because I've been developing the screenplay on the Narvaez expedition. I don't know if you know anything about it.
No, but can you just briefly give me a sentence of what that is?
So the story is about a man called Cabeza de Vaca. He's from Spain, and he is an emissary for the king of Spain. So they come to North America with 600 men, and only 4 survive after 8 years. Only 4 make it to Mexico out of those 600.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so it's the first expedition to cross like the southern part of North America. And the cool thing, and the thing that like really clicked to me, is that the beach that they became stranded on, they became slaves to the native population, is the beach I grew up surfing on. And I had no idea that this ever occurred until I ran across this story. And so I've been working on adapting his actual like his journal pretty much into a script. The hardest part is taking, 8 years of a story and trying to make it, 100 pages. So that's been the difficult portion. But yeah, so it's just been something I've been researching for like the last like 3 years on the Smithsonian, you know, doing all the background type stuff for that. But having a little bit more time now to be able to work on it, so it's been fun. My goal for that is 2027 release, because that'll be the 500-year anniversary of the expedition.
Wow. Thank you for educating me on all that. That is so awesome. And I have to say, it's really incredible when you find a story that you were affected by and you had no idea, and then you discover it later. You're like, what? Like, I've been on this beach and I didn't know this happened. Like, you know, it's quite a discovery. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I just think like a lot of like Native Americans especially have been stereotyped in so many movies, and there was such just like beautiful culture and like that was here beforehand, and I don't think that's ever really been shown on screen. Like we have like Apocalypto and a couple films like that, but for the most part, you know, it's all been cowboys and Indians post Civil War. So yeah, this is gonna be 1500s. It's interesting if I can get the funding for it, you know.
You will. You see, I'll be seeing you at TIFF in 2027 and wait,
hopefully
2027. So
maybe we can both be there, you know.
You're like, see, remember, like, it's like, that's awesome. I think humanizing anyone that has not been given, you know, a human point of view is so important. So congratulations.
Yeah, especially with a lot of the characters, like they're extinct. Like all the tribes that originated from here are extinct, so they've never had a voice. So, but to switch it up, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've had in your career, and how have you overcome?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, the biggest challenge, you know, I've had is maybe an imposter syndrome of like.
Are you serious? Okay, going back, I'm sorry to cut you off, but going back.
No, I was like,
you were the first person to say that, and because it was weird for me growing up, living in Houston. I'm just a kid from the suburbs, you know, and then all of a sudden we're going to LA every weekend and like interviewing these actors, and it wasn't until I was at the Revenant and we were hanging out with Tom Hardy that I finally felt like, okay, this is like where I belong. Up to then, like I felt like I didn't belong in Hollywood. I didn't feel like I belonged here. And so when you said imposter syndrome, you're the very first person that's ever brought that up. And I'm like, I relate to that, like totally.
That's so cool. I mean, thank you. I think it's something that people don't like to actually talk about, and that's, you know, it's real. So, you know what I mean? I'm very happy that you resonate with that. I'm only being honest, you know what I mean? That's been my biggest challenge. And I think it's a process, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy, I'm actually grateful that I had it now, because the discoveries and the actions, you know, I've had to implement have only helped me and made me grow more. So if that makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. Did you have like a specific moment that it kind of like flipped the switch for that? Because for me, it was at the Revenant after party that it kind of dawned on me like, okay, I do deserve this. I mean, this is what I've worked for. It's weird, you know, like being plucked out and finally like being in this world. But was there like a specific moment, or was it a gradual thing?
For me, it's been a gradual thing of, you know, I tend to be a person I have taken chances, and I'm sort of an introvert extrovert. So I have a very introvertedness about me. And then it'll come like in like really fast flashes where I'll like do a photo shoot, or, you know, then I did my, you know, my first feature, like studio feature, and you know what I mean? And then it was like, oh, you know, and then it was like, oh no, I don't deserve that. Oh, I deserve that, you know? So it's a constant, but what I can say is that I don't have a definite moment, but I have all these sort of steps of moments that have happened to me, and I continue to feel them and go through them, but I'm more confident now in terms of like, even if I don't feel confident, I'm like, you know, I already know it's like not to feel confident, and so that doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna do this thing right now. because my soul says I need to do this. You know what I mean? And I'm not, I know it's the whole experience of, interviewing, The Revenant and stuff like that. But that film is also, I would say, filmed with artists, filled with artists. And so I'm not surprised. Like, you feel very resonated when you go, oh, these are my people. You know what I mean? Like, these are my people. And then you go, oh my God, like, these people have felt like outsiders too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you realize that, you're like, oh, okay. Like, I have a place in the world. So.
You said it perfect. Going through like everything we're going through right now, with the quarantine, what do you hope as a society that we take away from this?
Ooh, wow. As a society, I hope that we take that we all our actions affect each other, and that our jobs are to be ourselves, are to be self-reliant, but give to others. Like, it's very controversial, but wearing a mask right now is giving to somebody else. It's telling somebody else that you care about them, because somebody else's mask is what's going to help me. You know what I mean? And my mask is not really for me, it's for you. You know what I mean? So what I hope that we get out of this society is that we're communal, we are all connected. And that means we're connected to the people we don't want to be connected to as well. And so our actions affect each other. Can we just all just figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Well, Tilda, it was such a pleasure to talk to you. Look forward to talking to you in 2 years.
Yeah, I look forward to talking to you in,
cool.
my 20s.
We'll stay in touch. So have a great day, and congratulations again on Capone. It's fantastic.
Again. All right. Good talking to you. Bye.
Bye.